Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is again, per usual, Mr. Evil Dragon XXL. Welcome to another race. We're here at round 4 here at Hockenheim today. Joining me, as per usual, is the one and only. It is, with fingers crossed, better internet today than it was the other couple of days. It's Jess. Say hello, Jess.
Good evening, Evil. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Germany, and welcome to a very soggy Germany in Hockenheim, situated in the Rhine Valley near the town of Hockenheim. Last season we did the classic Hockenheim track, and 3 seasons ago we did the normal Hockenheim track, which we're going to do tonight. It's changed quite a lot since its inception. It's changed due to safety reasons in early 2000s, 2001. It was 6.8 kilometers, now it is 4.5 kilometers. And it's just an awesome track. They got to get used to more difficult conditions. This should be a really fantastic spectacle, Evil.
Yes, the Hockenheim Ring, of course, like I said, redeveloped in 2001 after a string of spectacular incidents, of course, in Formula 1. John Lacey was driver that set in motion after his, of course, multiple spins where he recorded some 20G impact in the third chicane, the center chicane. That is where the hairpin currently now lies, of course. Circuit then was redeveloped by the great Herman Tilke. A lot of people don't like the new circuit, said they should keep the old one. The old circuit, wondered what happened to it. It's now a forest. It's completely a forest, so no more old Hockenheim Ring for them. But the new one, it's got its little charm. It's often let's say it's often a great race in terms of the touring cars and the especially more commonly known as a circuit. Lots of drivers went off in a couple of corners in F1, but this isn't F1. This is GT3. GT3 doesn't often come around this circuit, of course. DTM race here quite oftenly in terms of the last time I remember seeing a race around here, GT cars. In 2012, I remember fondly of a race around here. And some spectacular incidents happen. But right now, of course, in the virtual world, we have got 16 drivers ahead of us today. We're, of course, missing 2 of them, so it means we've got 14 so far. We have our usual tennis, Big Kid Jazzman. We've got Skull. We have a new driver as well, but yes, I think we've got a nice hot lap to go through as well.
Yes, we do, and that we're back to having a hot lap from our coordinator, Mr. Jazzman. So here it is.
Yeah, everybody, Jasmine here, taking you on board in my GT3 car for round 4 of the GT3 Airward Championship around Hockenheim in the wet. Heading into the first corner, you want to change down to 3rd and just keep your tyre just inside that red little bollard there to avoid a corner cut. Try to get a good exit up into 4th. I like to keep it in 4th and brake at the 100 meter board and get it down into 1st gear. For the 2nd corner, try focus on a good exit and change up to 3rd to minimize my wheel spin. Heading down the main straight now, just really minimizing my steering input to maximize my straight line speed and getting ready to spot my braking zone into the hairpin, and I'll brake about now get down to 1st gear as quick as possible. Sadly I overshot it there, but anyways, we try focus again on a good exit. Up in 3rd, up into 4th, flat through this next right-hander, easy flat, and I like to just stay in 4th and spot my braking point and get down to 2nd gear. Get onto the apex, try and get a good exit, change up to third a bit earlier just to help get the nose in and minimise minimise your wheel spin out of that corner to try to get a good enough exit. Again, down into third gear for this right-hander. Heading into the next bit. Want to spot your brake at about the 75 meter forward, 75 meters, and just try and get a late apex. Get a good exit up into third. Just try to keep a nice narrow line. For me, it seems to work. And down to second gear, keep it in the second gear, do a tiny lift off to get the nose in and get on the power. And that has been a lap of the track. It's been Jazzman. See you guys on track.
Okay, so that was a hot lap by Mr. Jazzman, and before we go straight to qualifying, which they're currently at right now, here is a look at our championship standings. So Boyraxa with 3 impressive podiums this season already, including a win last week in a 90-minute endurance race at Ripana. Sorry, I'm getting confused with the driver. There we go. But Vaxa is leading with 150 points, so not that far behind actually from second place, which is Tinnis, and then it is third place is Jasko, fourth place is Gaza, fifth place is Big Kid Daddy with 177 points. Sixth place is Papano. Now, if you were watching the stream last week, Papano got caught in a massive flip. Good news, he's okay. He was a bit shaken up after that incident, but he's okay, so that is good news. Seventh place is Leonardo. In eighth place is his teammate Defino, doing well. They've got the same points, so they're on similar pace right now. Wolf in ninth place. He's not racing tonight. Actually, he's taking a little bit of a break, but hopefully he'll be back next week. 10th place is Etta Racing. 11th place is Vetro. 12th is Scold, 13th is Foggy, and 14th is Jazzman. Andy is not racing, he's retired from the league. So in his place, as Evil said, we've got Archer, who is racing in, let me just get my notes, he's racing in the number 1 Audi Phoenix car. And whilst we do that, I may as well go to the track, and we're on board with him right now. Just look at his livery, and Evil, I'm really glad that he's back racing with us.
Archie, of course, he last raced 2 seasons ago. Retired middle of last season. He turned up, got a few pole positions, got a little bit of a bad luck, of course, and had to pull out due to unfortunate reasons, of course. And as well as last season, his connection often being the plague of his troubles. But of course, Archie in the Audi, not the only Audi today, because of course, unfortunately, we've got sad news. The shed burned down, and Scold's Jeanette got trapped in the fire. So we had to get a new factory driver. He's now gone in the Audi as well, Papano. So both their cars were burnt in the shed. Long live shed. So it's still called shed racing. I think it's just shed racing upgraded. It's shed racing in a factory. So slight upgrade. We didn't do a lot. Skull's now got a lofty expectations to live up to, because now he's got Archio to look up to. He's currently going through Mobile 1. I think he's the first person to set a lap time, of course, coming down into Jacat's curbs, of course, where he saw some very, I would say we saw a German go off there, and if I see a driver go off there, I will repeat that same sentence as well, so expect that to happen at some point in this race. But through the last couple of corners, the sun's still setting up in the sky. Time's about 5 o'clock in the morning, about 5:10 in the morning. So nice early dawn for the drivers as Archer goes fastest so far, 1 minute 37.6. Good lap time for him. Let's see what the other Audi can do then. With a whole gaggle of cars then. So Papano in second position, Jasko in third, Jazzman in fourth. Let's see what Skull can do. That's a crucial thing. Then he goes a little bit wide and ends up doing almost a Glock. And I think that might be an invalid lap time, you know. No, he's not. So 1.9 seconds off the pace, puts him behind Fogarty in the Mercedes. That ahead of him is Jazzman, as well as his teammate Tinnis. So Archio, first lap out the box, pole position so far. Provisional pole in the Audi. That's where he wants to be starting. Vector, meanwhile, down there in 11th position so far, still learning the Lamborghini. Of course, he's driving the 69 livery after a petition of me and a few other of our friends decided he said he was going to go in the Lambo. We got him to go in that livery because it's nice and it's very retro as well. Boyraxa He's so far down the back of the field. He's not still a competitive lap time. We're waiting on Defito and Essa Racing in the other factory shed. So, Jess, so far, first lap's on the board. Top 3 drivers separated by under a tenth.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, and Archer on his return, I'm very impressed with his lap time. Papano, 64 thousandths though. I am liking these drivers' competitiveness, and Jasko is not that far behind as well. I've just noticed the gap. 98,000 separates the top 3. I mean, that is just insane. I mean, we've got the best drivers on PS4 racing right here, and honestly, Hockenheim's one of my favourite tracks on GT3. Mainly due to the fact that it's very close racing. I like it in real life as well, because obviously the real life German Grand Prix was an absolute hit. Jazzman by 62,000. I mean, Jazzman has had some really bad luck. I'm not going to say anything more because I'm worried I'm going to jinx him. I jinx him every race this season, and I don't want to jinx him anymore, so I'm not going to say too much about Jazzman Evil, because you know what happened last week. So, yeah.
So top 4, all separated by a tenth of a second. Gaza improves up to 6 so far. The defending champ, well, the runner defending champion, because he's defending the defending champion, so he's won it 2 seasons ago. His teammate, though, who did win it last season, by Raxa, crosses the line. Let's see, where can he go? Needs to get himself up first. He does go first. Top 5 then separate just over a tenth and a half then. This is incredibly close right now, and people's just sort of saying, Jess, they're writing this season off. It was going to be boring. It wasn't going to be exciting. The first 3 races, well, you can say what you say about them. Were they the correct tracks? Maybe not. They provide the great racing? Maybe not. But so far here in qualifying, at least, providing a right spectacle in the top 5 under, well, 1.5 tenths. That's not happened for a very, very long time indeed. Archie, is he up? That's the question. Right, we can't see right now on his telemetry, sparking the wall on the outside for a good measure as he comes through Mobile 1, down towards the Shat's curb then on the brakes for the Audi, chuck it to the left, back corner, allows the car to run out wide as well, get all the speed. Now let's see, through this little left, right, into the double right-hander then, the last 2 corners, make sure it's perfect, make sure it's on the limit. A little bit wide there, it cuts in a lot earlier than normal drivers would, doesn't use all the runoff there on the exit as well. Crosses the line, does he improve, can he improve? Yes, he can improve by 3.5 tenths of a second then, so game on by Raxa then, he says. What about Jazzman? What can he do then? 7 minutes to go here in qualifying. Jazzman, can he go improve? The answer is no, not yet. Who is next to cross the line? It's Tinnis, I believe, his teammate. Someone else in between them. We'll have a look, see if anyone else jumps up. It was Vector down the back, does not improve. What about Tinnis? Does he improve? Not yet. Gaza, and we're still waiting for the likes of other drivers as well. I think Gaza might be one of the next drivers to cross the line in this group. I think that's Papano, who's just behind him as well. So we're waiting on quite a few cars. Leonardo, first cross line in this group of cars. His teammate behind. Leonardo, 1.5 tenths up so far. Defito behind. Where's he going? So stays the same. Gaz across the line, stays the same. What about Papano then in 4th? He stays the same. What about down the back? Fogarty, does he improve? No, he stays the same as us. So everyone very similar lap times this time around. But crucially, Archie so far on pole position in his debut, well, his re-debut in Tier 1.
His return to Tier 1, as it were. I mean, I'm not surprised, Evil. Some of the guys have not improved yet because due to the fact that the track is evolving ever so often. And we may see, I think, a bit more improvement towards the end, I must say, as we're now seeing a big gap between 1st and 2nd. I mean, Archer with a 137.3, I can see him improve, definitely. But I know Boy Raxa, Jasko, Jazzman, Papano, they want to get better than that. And don't forget, these are the conditions that are not we're not gonna see much of in the race. It's gonna be completely different conditions they got to worry about, so they can really start to push in qualifying, because they don't have to worry about their tyre situation. And yeah, it's gonna start off really, really soggy, and then it's gonna be dry again. So very, very challenging for the drivers.
Indeed. Well, a few drivers having issues there. Up front, of course, it is still Archel leading the pack away then. Jazzman in 2nd, by Raxa in 3rd, Papano 4th, Tinnis in 6th. A few people saying I'm really quiet in the chat, Jess. So Not sure if you can turn me up on your end, or I should turn myself up on my end, but should be fine. But Jazzman second, he's in the pit lane right now. Byraxa in third. Who else currently near the last corners? It's so far Leonardo in the Lamborghini. 8th position so far, staying 8th right now. Fogarty's in 9th. Big Kid Daddy in 10th right now. He's been saying he's been eating porridge recently. Is he going to go for a Valtteri? Of course, that race Valtteri ended up having the monumental accident, but let's hope not the worst. Vectro down in 12th. Skull disappointing in 13th. Essa in 14th. The shed is so far not really flourishing right now, might I say. The factory shed down the back.
Yeah, a bit of a shame now. Essa seems to be struggling a little bit there compared to everybody else, but Skull is getting there. I mean, if he finds a few attempts, he should be absolutely fine, and I'm sure he could do that. He seems a little bit more confident in that, and he's improved quite a bit in that Sector 2 by 6 attempts, so I'm guessing he's probably going to improve. I did turn you up, Evil, so hopefully the guys could hear you better. Just let us know in the chat. We do see a bunch of cars really starting to pull up the pressure and get into a little bit of traffic. We've only got 4 minutes to go though. We've got Jazzman just go past turn 11 now, and then he's got someone else behind him. I do believe that's Archer or Skulls. I'm not entirely sure who it was. I know it's an Audi. No, it's Tinners. Okay, Tinners, and then we've got another Audi going past. So let's see if any one of those guys could improve a lap time. So we've got I think it was Jazzman crossing the line. I don't think he can improve. Let's see if Jasco and Jazzman's actually just gone past a few corners actually, and he's slowing down. So no, he's not improving. So yeah.
Essa Jess. So Essa just up the road from him so far. Let's see, can Essa get himself off the back grid so far? 17 seconds down. Well, he improved by 15 seconds, so I would say that's an improvement. Someone rather smoky through turn number 1 there. I'm wondering, is that who that is? It's Big Kid Daddy there who's going rather sideways through turn 1, might I say. But so far, everyone relatively within, well, 2.5 seconds of each other. That's pretty good so far. Big gap though between Vector and Defeato. It's almost, what, some 6 tenths of a second. Essa down the back, not getting all of the potential out of that Audi so far. Scold in 9, 1.3 seconds though behind. Not Archer, because now Byraxa takes up pole position by 38 thousandths of a second then. So this is going to be an incredibly close battle then for pole position here at Hockenheim. So far, Jazzman is still in third. We're waiting for the likes of Papano, who's coming in the pit lane with his 1 litre left, of course. Jasco, he's coming through the Schatz curb right now. He's being trailed by one of the other Audi. That must be Scold, who's sitting right behind him there, of course, in the number 4 Audi, if I'm not mistaken too correctly there. So Jasco through the last corner, 666, blinding him his way through. Well, let's see, will the devil give him a devil number? He improves to third, not too much. Scold stays 9th down back. Meanwhile, we've got Vector, I think, crossing line. He stays 13th still. Not a lot of improvement for them, but Jasco now starting to improve. Let's see what Jazzman can do. Both beginning with JA, just an S and a Z. The difference between them. Let's find out, though. Jazzman through the last corner. Let's see what he can do. Can he get himself up to the front row then? So far, 4th. 2 tenths down on that lap then, so he'll have 2 more if they want it. But right now, he's got cars in front of him, and he's decided to bail out of that lap time. And that would have been Essa just ahead of him, if I'm not too mistaken. He was Essa just ahead of him there. So, 1 minute 30 to go. Archer, he's so far second, driving the number 1 Audi. Is he going to be on P1 in number 1 position in the number 1 Audi for his number 1 race in Tier 1-1? Let's see what one can do in the top level. Crosses the line, does he improve then to begin his lap time? Then through turn 1. Down into the 3rd gear. Build the speed up then. Wants to come on the outside as he come into turn number 2. Then down then towards what is the Paddy Bolly car. With a K, not a C. They didn't nick it for Monza. Into the right-hander. 1st gear. Build those revs up. Into 2nd. Up to 3rd. Let the car go then. Into 4th. Up to 5th. Build the speed. 220 plus kilometers an hour. 230. Up to about 250 kilometers an hour, give or take. And then down on the brakes then. Down into 1st. Get the front end turn in. The rear comes round, builds a speed up. Bit of a mistake there for him. Loses the rear. Not wants to be doing that then. So they come into this tricky right-hander towards the Mercedes arena, and he's bailed out of it then. So by Raxa, but provisional pole, unless the likes of Papano can improve, can Gaza improve? He stays 7th, so he's not going to improve by much. But who else is on a lap time? We look down then. Vectro, last season so far, looks as in third. Big Kid Daddy, I think, the next across the line. It is Big Kid Daddy next across the line. Through the last couple of corners, 2 double right-handers to go then. He does the first okay, a little bit wide, very wide for him. That'll get the second right-hander good then. Can he outscore and out-qualify Foggy today then? He's doing an incredible job in the mud. So, Big Kid Daddy, does he get ahead? No, he stays behind Foggy for the time being. Foggy will be the next across the line then. For him, what can he do then? I don't think it's going to be too much. I think he's the last driver to cross the line, Jess. So, crosses the line. He stays 10th, so we are waiting for one more. I'm wondering, is that Vector we are waiting for? It looks like it's Vector waiting for. I believe might be one other. I think Gaza might also be on a lap time, potentially still. The Vector down by 3 tenths, 2 tenths then. So it's not looking ideal for the Dutchman. So far, the slowest driver of them all. Struggling right now this season. Can't get the car hooked. Can't get the car working like he wants it to do so far. He changed to the Lamborghini to say, I could do better than the Ferrari. Well, right now he's having a wake up because the Ferrari is almost doing as well as he would have been doing so far. And let's see, can he improve? No, he cannot. So we are now just waiting for Gaza to cross the line. So he did manage to get another lap in. Can he improve? I'm wondering. He crosses the line and stays 7th.
So, Boy Raxa once again on pole. I mean, he is on form this season already. Like I said earlier, 3 podiums to his name, and the lowest he has scored this season is a P4. So he's been the most consistent out of everybody, and his best result was last week in Australia. So let's go through the results then. Boy Raxa on pole, 38,000 clear of Archel. Archel very impressive on this return. He is P2. We've got Jasko in 3rd. Jazzman looking to get some points in 4th. Papano in 5th. Tinner 6th. Gaza 7th. Leonardo 8th. Skull with an impressive 9th. And we got Fogarty in a 10th place. Big Kid Daddy in 11th. Defino 12th. Essa 13th. And Vetro 14th. And the heavens are open here in Germany. And it is raining.
Yeah, rain forecast for the first 30 minutes. Ahead of the drivers, expected to drive around about 15 minutes then. Question is, though, for the first time this season, it's not been a Lamborghini or a Mercedes on pole, but a Mercedes currently is on pole, but it hasn't been a Lamborghini or a Mercedes on the front row. It's a Mercedes and a Audi then. First time we've seen that for a long time, since last season, of course. Jasko in 3rd, the first of that thing. So the first 3 cars, the first 3 manufacturers, Jazzman, Papano, Tinners, Gaza, Leonardo, Scold, Fogarty, Big Kid Daddy, Defito, Essa, Vectro down the back. Remember last season, Vectro had a very spectacular crash at this corner. Mind, of course, it was the older layout, but it's still a very spectacular accident as well. Hopefully he will not repeat the same mistake again. A star-studded crowd in the background as well. We got a nice turnout, might I say. They're not the fullest grandstand, of course. We would like to see more full grandstand. I mean, someone can get work on that next time around. Let's see, get full grandstand will be nice. But by Raxa, he's got it all to work for right now. He's running quite hot there in the championship. He's got Archer, who's new to the season, of course, replacing Ethan after his pedal decided he didn't want to work. Unfortunately, hopefully he'll mend that. He said he will not be racing until potentially the end of this season, probably next season as well. Down the back, of course, we have the likes of Fogarty, who people in the chat saying they would love to see 324 Grand Prix starts, or I say GT starts in AOR. He's got a lot to work for. He's a man who often does it. All the drivers, remember, will be turning their lights on as well. So we've got the 5 red lights, and they'll be rolling one off by the other. And let's see then. Wait, 3, 2, 1, and they will be rolling then off the grid. Boyraxa leads them away then on the formation map then from Archer in second, Jasko in third. Then comes Jazzman, the spray kicking up, Tinners, Papano. Then we've got Gaza, Leonardo, Scott, who did a relatively good job there in 9th. First time he's been up in the top 10 all season long. Because, of course, apart from the reverse grid racing as well, new improvements then for him. Fogarty in 10th position, good result for him. Big Kid Daddy in 11th as well. Did an okay job last week. See if we can improve this time. Defino, might I say, in 12th position. Essa in 13th. Did not get the best out of that Audi. And like we said, Vectro struggling and languishing down the back so far. Of course, new car, new team. And take a few races to get used to it. And the number 69, is that a bad omen? We'll find out, of course, Jazz.
Yes, indeed. It is really, really tricky, I must say, in the rain. Especially this little hairpin here into turn 6. I mean, it's hard in the dry because you've really got to brake really early. And it is quite different. You have to get used to a different line to what you're used to in qualifying. Maybe because some of these guys are new to the top tier, so maybe they just got to get used to new surroundings anyway. There was hardly any rain at all this season so far, but this is the first one. But luckily it's not raining the whole race, because otherwise they would find it a little bit more difficult for the drivers to manage. But we may see a few drivers aquaplaning quite a lot, because we can see a few puddles already forming on the circuit. And it will also be interesting as well as to when the drivers will be pitting for slicks when the track starts to dry up. Will they get it right, or will there be drivers that have opted to pit for slicks at the wrong time? As all the drivers now are going into a 2x2 formation, and I'll let you take the start, Evil.
Indeed. Well, Boraxa, you'll have the right-hand side of the circuit. Oh, thought someone was off the road there in the background, and I think they were. I saw spray getting kicked up everywhere in the background, but I think everyone's got it down the back there. So, Boraxa, Archil, Jasko, Jazzman, the rest of the field, they're all ready to go. Then one car lagging in the background, but the green flag is ready to go, and we are away here in Germany then. Good start for Boraxa, good start from Archil as well. Car going airborne in the background, they're lagging in the background, but I think everyone's through them. No, they're not, because the Defito's off in the background. I see there, so we've got cars off in the background already then, but crucially, Boraxa leads it down towards turn number 2 then. Archil, Jazzman, Jasko, Papano, Gaza making up position there, a bit of contact with Papano as well, but I think that apart from Defito who had some lag earlier on, everyone's clean and away then at the start of this race.
Yes, Gold has made up one position, which is great for him as well. A beautiful start from him as well. Gaza's still in 7th place as they all go past the Parabolica now into the hairpin. We've got Jazzman trying to make a move into the hairpin now. So I did see Jasko go off a little bit there, so he was struggling, but Jazzman says thank you very much. That's a position gained for him. We got Papano, they're going side by side with him as well. They seem to be struggling a little bit.
Contact, surely. No, just about get away with that.
What?
Having a look at the inside, looked for it, decided to get out of that just about there. Defito's caught back up to the field, by the way, so he's got it going relatively well, but Boraxa still leads this race as he come through the spray then. Incredibly difficult. Down for Mobile 1, the first time they will do it. And let's see, we're going to see anyone skating off in this corner. It's difficult in the dry, it's difficult in the wet. Everyone seems to look crucially and made no critical mistake. Did I say that? I see contact in the background. We got one car off. Is that Big Kid Daddy off in the background? Is that Jasko? It is Jasko then. Off in the grass and in the gravel as well. Defito and Leonardo, I think, was involved there as well. So I thought I saw someone maybe going around. It was. And that it was not good. I'm wondering what happened there. He must have got clipped there somewhere. As Scold has a look up the inside of one car. I think Vetro, good start for him. He's up to 10th. 8th position, might I say, in the Lamborghini. So he's made a stonking start so far. He's got Fogarty behind him and the other Audi of Essa as well. But Scold already hounding the season 13 champion.
Yeah, I mean, Scold is just having so much fun at the moment. Maybe he's liking the fact the change of car, because sometimes a change of cars could help a driver more than hinder. Papano's going to look on the...
Down the inside, that's too late. You won't get that stop. He's going straight on, my friend.
Oh.
You'll have Jazzman come back up the inside. Optimistic driving did not work, my friend. And Jazzman, he's a wily old fox. He knows that he's coming there. He got well out of the way. Defeated big damage, meanwhile, down the back. So he's been in that pit lane a long, long time. Though I say that, he just comes out on cue. So never mind. But Jazzman and Papano batting together. These two have had some close calls, of course. Jazzman yet to score any points this season. He scored 0 in the first round, 0 in the second. Of course, retired in both of those races. Of course, that was 2 of them. Did not finish the third. So this is really his best opportunity. He needs to start scoring points this season. He's having a shocking start. One driver already out of this race, might I say, Jess, and that is Jasko. He's out of the race already then. So, one driver down, and that is a real shame, of course. He had it all still to work for later round, but of course he's out before it's really got underway, and a huge gap, might I say. I think that's Vectro. Taking this huge train of cars. Vectro, Foxy, Big Kid Daddy, Edsa, Leonardo, as well, and they're all a little train right now, but it is the top 2. Archil, Boyraxa, Archil trailing the leader right now, and this is good for him. He needs to be doing this. He wants to be trying to close up. Right now, he's really closing up because I think Boyraxa had a mistake, and Archil's going for the lead round the outside into turn number 2. Surely it'll be difficult to go around the outside there. Has to back off because the puddles are too deep there. But he's making an intent for the victory here today, and this is crucial for him. Jasko's disconnected as well, so it's gone from bad to worse for the driver. But look at here, Archil sniffing it inside. He won't do it there. It's a little bit too far up the inside. Backwards we go. Is Papano close enough? No, he's not. But crucially, look at Archil right now. He's hounding that car. The Mercedes, who we thought might run away with this, he's pulling away, but he's pulling Archil with him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not surprised Archil is on a comeback right now. He means business. He didn't just go to the top tier for nothing. He wants to win races, and he is making a statement right now. As he just saw Papano's off, and he made contact with, I think, Tinus.
It'll be Tinus. Yeah, it's Tinus. He might come in contact with another car if he's not too careful there. So he got too much on the rear end. Spun it around, and that's going to be damage on the front. Scold having a look up the inside into Mobile 1 then. A little dive on the inside. Good overtake there, Skull. Proving there is again losing the rear. Papano's got damage, of course. He's got big damage indeed. Struggling. He's got no grip out there. He's dropping down like a cinder block in water, might I say. Archil, meanwhile, he made a mistake there. He's dropped a few tenths back from the leader, but staying with him, though. Those two and a bit seconds ahead of Jazzman so far in third position. He's got Gazza, the defending, well, the runner-up champion last time out. Then we've got Skull up to 5th. Good start as well for him. He's making up positions where others make mistakes. Tinus, Papano, how much damage will that have done to those two drivers? That's the question. Well, Tinus will have some front-end damage, probably about 3 or 4 potentially if he's got away with it. Tinus might have some suspension as well. Hard to say, of course, but the front end, the side you can see where it hit.
Papano, I'm just seeing his front end. It looks awful. It might be just the bodywork, but it's just hard to drive right now, so he's going to struggle.
Yeah, damage indeed. Not as bad on my end, but alas, not what you're going to be doing so far in this race. So as they come down then into the hairpin again, you can see Gaza, Scold, then comes Tinus, who's struggling with that rear end as well. Papano, Vectro's catching up a little bit right now. He's doing an okay job right now, pulling away from the rest of the field. So he's got good pace right now. To be fair, compared to what he was in the Ferrari, he's starting to show that he's got some real potential in that car then. So, Vectro, his season's not over yet. I was ready potentially, a few people were to count him out there. Fucking you a little bit wide in the background in the Mercedes. But the number 69 doing good there is Papano. Trying around the outside into Mobile 1. It won't work there, my friend. In the dry you can try it, in the wet you won't. He's having a look up the inside. He's going to hit him, I feel. Almost does. Pulls just out of it in time in the spray. Incredibly difficult, of course. Remember, the puddles down there can really affect your ability to stop. Before we go then, you can just see with the spray how much time they're losing. Now, these drivers, they won't come in, of course. If they come in, their race is basically over. They have to stay out on circuit and just keep with these drivers, Jazz.
Yeah, and I think that's what Papano's doing, but he's not doing too bad, but he's just losing a bit of time. Right, now Zola Tinnis has gone off, and Papano might gate the position here. He's going to try and go to the outside then, into the start turn 3.
Inside, contact nearly on the exit,
Ooh.
just about to get it then, so Papano, late braking, we know how good he's on the brake, but side by side on the exit, look at that, wheel to wheel stuff. Papano almost on the grass there, puts himself very wide. Tinnis then, he'll try and squeeze him as best he can. Papano have the inside line. Now, if Papano did this on Jazzman and skated straight on, let's see, can he get on the brakes there? Down the inside, can he get the car stopped? He's brakes late as he gone too deep. Again, he has. As Tinnis runs into the back of him there. And these two are having a little bit of a bouncy Betty right now. They're having all sorts of problems. And they're almost magnetised together. Well, I think Fogarty battling away with Big Kid Daddy in the background. Big Kid Daddy now getting ahead of Mr. Cole Fogarty. So Fogarty down to 10th position, struggling in these conditions, of course. He has not had the best start of the season as well. He's seasoned veteran. Going backwards right now, or I say backwards, he's basically where he was, where he started. Up front, meanwhile, Archer still with Boy Rax at the top two, separated by 4th of a second. They're pulling away, Jess, from the rest of the field.
Yeah, you can see the difference, and you can see the sheer pace as well compared to the fastest laps. Boy Rax.
Archer
spun! I think
that is not a place you want to be doing. Jasmine just about avoids it there. Archer on the puddles there, aquaplaning around there, got on the curb, the right line. Incredibly difficult. Well, I say the top two are pulling away, and well, now
commentators curse.
Commentators curse. Another car around, and of course that's difficult conditions there. Gaz are up to 3rd then, and look at Skull behind him. So Skull's probably a little bit smug right now. He's seeing the car ahead of him. Now Skull's knows too well he won't try anything here, but Skull's often good in the wet conditions. Don't cut him out for a pad driver. He's often a man to look out for. But Byraxon now leads this race. He has a clear track ahead of him now. Down the back, that's DeFito, of course, who's very much in a very lonely position, might I say, after that contact. Lap number 1, it was putting back before he even got to the start. So I'm not quite sure what happened, but I believe potential lag has Scold very much on the curves there. He's handling that car, he's pushing it. Archer, I think, wants to get a move straight on right now. He knows he's quick. He's made a small mistake. That will hurt his mentality ever so slightly, but now he's willing to do it. Just remain calm, remain confident. We know how bad it can happen. When a mistake happens of Archer, it happened a few seasons ago. He just makes a mistake and he just does not stop. As you can see, the puddles there, Scold and Archer, the Audi's ready. Losing the rear end, of course. But Archer, like I said, he was prone to make mistakes. Once he makes one, he can make more and more and more. He really loses concentration. Let's just see if he can keep it. And let's see, can he try and keep his, mentality together. Not make mistakes. Try and come through, of course. Try and get those positions. And let's see if he can do it. Well, so far, Mercedes leads then here in Germany, where a circuit where they often do well at. Of course, though, anything can happen in GT racing, and it usually does. But Boyraxa leads, Jazzman 2nd, then comes Gaza, Archil, Scold, Rapano and Tinnerstein. The battle between those two Audi drivers are heating up so far, but let's see if Archil can do anything to pull away from Scold. He's looking there as Rapano, meanwhile, in the background, rather doing some gymkhana, might I say. Did he keep him out of the barrier? I think he did. Yes, he did. Well, there goes Tinners going through, but very sideways, might I say, through turn 1. Not really going to be doing, but for tyre wear. But alas, very good for our streams as well. Very good for the audience. I've seen car going sideways to turn 1, and like I say, that was very sideways through turn 1. Archer, 4th position so far, still on a course for potential podium. No penalties so far in this race, though, Jazz.
Yeah, these guys are keeping it clean, and like we said, and there's a bit of a touch from Archer, and I think it was Skull there as well. Skull. So, yeah, and as you see someone spinning, that's Tinnis. Again, Tinnis, I think damage is just getting to him.
The circuit, my friend, gets himself back going there, but Tinnis, I think that was the puddle, you know, Jess. It looked like the puddle he got on there and just lost the rear end there. The background,
yeah.
Is that Essa having a look there at Essa passing Leonardo down the back? So Leonardo now in last position. So Essa starting to come through the field slightly there. So the Audi starting to come alive in this middle stage of the race. The Audi often either good in the wet though, Jess. We've seen it before.
Yeah.
Gold uncharacteristic mistake though for him in the way. It doesn't normally lock the car up this straight on, but dang, making a few small mistakes for him, niggling issues. He's the first time he's driving the Audi, so
I can tell you he was aquaplaning. I can tell you he was aquaplaning by the looks of things. I mean, the puddles are really, really hard on this circuit. I've never driven in the wet on this circuit before, and it is quite hard for me to manage as well. So fair play to these drivers for coping. But I think Tinnis, went off due to the damage. I mean, obviously he has to keep going, like he said, and he's going to be like Archer right now. He's got to forget what happened at the start of the race and focus on his mindset on getting through the rest of the race and possibly try and gain more positions than he's lost, really, because, you know, he wants to have some fun. That is his main focus right now. But meanwhile, Archer, he's thinking about that right now. He's about 4 tenths behind Gaza, doing quite well. Same lap times at them, well, similar lap times compared to both of them as well. And they've got Skull for company as well. Archer having a look. Yeah, that was a bit late. Yeah, he
just called it that, as Skull also isn't around. And the Audis are they're twinning right now, as I said. They're making mistakes together.
Yeah.
They're bringing each other along. They're spinning together, and that's not really what he's doing. Vector, meanwhile, he's in 7th position, might I say. Very good. He started last, and now he's 7th. So I said earlier on, people are potentially writing him off. Right now, he's proving that he's one that pace might not be up there. Because similar, he's a pad user like me. I spoke to him. He doesn't normally like the one that pace in racing. Of course, he's more of a Lance Stroll type driver. In if you're thinking of Formula 1, doesn't like the one that pace, like the long pace.
He's like me as well. He's like me. I like
where others make mistakes.
Yep, he's like me. I like the race pace more than quality pace, and it's Archer spun. He's done a Vettel.
One, as that damage I'm seeing just potentially at the front end of that car. I would say it is.
That looks like damage. And he's
big damage.
Suspension by looks of things. That doesn't look like a good car to drive. And if he pits now, he's going to find it so much hard to gain time. So he probably has to deal with the damage that he's got. Oh, nope, he's pitting now. Okay, so he's going to go last, I think, which is fair enough because you don't want to cause any more mistakes. So it started from good to bad to worse for Archer, but Tinnis still hanging in there. He's behind Big Kid Daddy right now. Leonardo almost having a look there on Fogarty. Fogarty doing well in 9th place as well, getting some good points out of there as well. We're seeing some good surprises, and it is shaping up to be a good race so far with the people that you don't normally expect to do well doing well in these wet conditions. Maybe they like the wet conditions more than the dries, even.
Yeah, and I say it's the good, bad, and the ugly now because Archer's out of this race then. So if it's gone wrong for Archer, he had potential, he had pace. I cursed him, and now he's out of the race. So
evil.
Well, it's not gone well, has it? But Tinner's 8th position so far, hunting down BKD. Vetro now up to 6th because of that, though. So Vetro, like I said, he's coming through whilst others making mistakes. He's keeping his nose clean. I'm not going to curse him like I normally do, but he's doing well, defensively. Vicky Daddy, Tinnis, those two, they don't often see each other near on the circuit right now. But right now they are. You can see the puddle jets down there into Mobile 1. You can see there just slightly as they come through it. Unfortunately, we'll get an onboard later on to show you. But very big. It's bigger than I remember it was in practice. But meanwhile, Byrax leads this race now from Jazzman then. So the two established drivers, 1st and 2nd. Gaza in 3rd. Scold now up to 4th then, doing a stonking start for his Audi career, again capitalising on others' mistakes. Rapano in 5th, Vectra up to 6th, Vicky Daddy and Tinnis battling away in the 2 Lamborghinis in 7th and 8th, Fogarty in 9th, Leonardo in 10th, battling away with Essa in 11th position then to the Audi, battling away there, Leonardo and Foggy. Zafino down the back, and he very much looks to be in solidarity down the back. 2 drivers out of this race. Being, of course, Jasco and most recently Archer out.
It's a racing, and they're going side by side right now. This may not end well because it's a really tight corner to make overtakes him. Maybe they might try it through the hairpin instead of the parabolica, but they're going side by side in the parabolica into turn 6, the hairpin now. Can Leonardo stick to his line? He does, and they touch, and Leonardo has spun. That's
right.
not looking good at all for Leonardo.
Yeah, Esser will let him through that. He does. So, very sportsmanship there from Esser. He realised he made the mistake. And wasn't really, it was a racing incident there. Leonardo lost the rear end. Esser had nowhere to go, but Esser, fair play to him, wants a clean race, wants a clean overtake, wants a clean battle. Doesn't want to do it the old-fashioned way, does want to do it the old-fashioned way, doesn't want to do it the cheap way. So, sportsmanship at its highest level there between those two, even though you could say there wasn't too much contact. Meanwhile, Vectro's getting hounded down by Big Kid Daddy and Titus right now. This has got to be a little bit impressive for the young Dutch driver, 21 years of age, of course. Very often the driver who can get the most out of a car. He's very good. He's very good at battling as well. He's been driving a Porsche a lot recently in other leagues as well, so he's potentially a little bit of class now, especially because he's gone in the Lamborghini. I'd have thought he'd have gone in the Porsche as well. But of course, let's see what he can do. Still in 6th position. Even though if he doesn't finish 6th, he finishes like 8th or 9th, it's still a very good result from where he was just 7 days ago, where he was struggling to even keep the car in a straight line. So far, everything is going his way. Meanwhile, I will say though, Gold keeping up with Gaza right now. So Scold's looking rather feisty on the pad right now. Do you know I say, Jess, that Scold's often good in the wet? Well, right now he's proving it, isn't he? Doing a relatively good job. He's flying right now out there. He's looking, hunting like a dog. He's like an attack dog right now. He's looking one way and the other. Now, we believe the Mercedes should just be able to keep up the road, of course. Remember, that Mercedes does not like it when it starts to get dry, because it's going to remain wet, but as it dries, watch out for those Lamborghinis as well.
Yeah, exactly. But don't count your chickens before you hatch, because it will start to dry up quite considerably. And the amount of times you jinx in this league this season is beyond me, Evil. So I don't trust you at the moment. But there we go. But anyway, Big Kid Daddy is lining up for the attack on the guy in front of him, which is Vetro. Vetro, another guy that has changed cars as of late, doing quite well to avoid trouble as of now. Don't forget, these guys have got to make their mandatory pit stops at least once this race. As long as they make it before the end of the penultimate lap, it then counts. No one, I think the only people that have pitted are the ones that
are having a battle. Might I just cut over you, Jess?
Yeah, sure.
Cut over that. Gaza and Skull having a little bit of a ding on that. Notice the switching left and right every few corners then. Let's see, Skull looking and attacking, but the Mercedes so quick in a straight line. There is no way, surely, he'll come through there. Let's see, he's got on the brakes. Let's see if he can do it. He's on the outside. Gaza covering the inside. Skull's going to try to get it around the outside, then into the hairpin. That'll be brave to do it then. Let's see, on board we go. We should just see that rear end of the Mercedes just ahead of him. Yes, it is still just there, as leads to continue to have their ding-dong of a battle right now. Meanwhile, Tinus, Big Kid Daddy and Vector having a scrap down there. Big Kid Daddy having a little look up the inside of Vector. Vector covers the line there. Big Kid Daddy having a look up the inside as there goes Tinus trying to come through as well. These three drivers having another good battle as well. Behind them, Fogarty just sitting back wondering, if these drivers make mistakes, I can get 1, 2, maybe even 3 positions out of this.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a good position right now. He's in a sandwich, though, but look at this. Tinus is not giving up like no tomorrow. He's always going to try for the move there, but it probably would have ended up wrong right now. But Big Kid Daddy must be in the one in loads of pressure. He's got to attack and defend all at the same time. You know how hard it is for a driver. I find it hard, and I know you guys that are watching find it hard. So that is what Big Kid Daddy has to do right now. And we lost another driver because we're now down to 11, or I might just be seeing things right now.
I'm trying to see who that is. We've just lost someone there. I just noticed who have we just lost? Byraxa still leads, so it's not one of the top 4. Venture's in 5th. Gaza? Is it Gaz? No, it's Gaz. Tinus. Tinus is Tinus is spun somewhere. So where's Tinus gone? Fogarty's now up to.
Oh, it might be just me.
7.
Papano. Papano.
Yeah, Papano. That's who we've lost. Yeah, good spot there, Jess. What has happened to Papano? I didn't see that there. I'm not sure what happened, but suddenly it's got a massive lag spike. And then tennis, I don't know what happened to him. Did he spin or something there? I was looking through. So something happened there.
I'll find out for you at some point. I will see what's going on in the chat, because they might have put what has been going on in the chat, as in their tier chat, to find out what's going on. But yeah, what a shame. But I'm not really surprised. Again, he got caught up in the damage with Tinnis. He felt like he can't drive the car that much, so I think he just pulled the plug.
Daddy really laid on the brakes there, almost cream pied the back of poor old Vectro there. So let's see, try around the outside. Big Kid Daddy has a look, can't do it right now. Has a look at the inside, no, he's still too far back to try there. He's right up behind him though. This is going to be, Vector's enjoying this Honda. He's so far running fifth, we're down to 11 drivers so far. This is, they're dropping rather more like flies right now as Big Kid Daddy gets a good exit. Is he having a look down into Mobile 1, alongside, pulls up the inside, down the inside, side by side, through Mobile 1. Vector will have the inside, then down in the Scratch curve. Is he having a look up the inside? Big Kid Daddy covers him off there. Fantastic driving there from the seasoned veteran there against the relatively spring chicken compared to Big Kid Daddy as Vector. About 100, but over 100 races Vector's completed. Big Kid Daddy, I think, near his 250th. He's almost up there with the likes of Fogarty as well. And he's doing a good job. Talking of Fogarty, he's catching these two up, you know.
Yeah, Fogarty doing very well in 7th place. Again, a guy like Vectro that is keeping out of trouble. So the ones that are usually ones that are usually scoring low points, doing quite well at the moment. So it just goes to show anything can happen in AOR in these wet conditions. I do remember I've commentated on many GT3 races with soggy races, and it always throws out loads of surprises, and that's why I like these conditions. It's starting to get less wet at the moment. I can mainly see spray. It is drizzling right now, but still spray there, so there'll still be puddles. So the conditions will be a lot more tricky, but to handle, because they won't know what tyres to be on. But it's going to be a while before it dries up enough to go onto the slick tyres. But we're almost halfway. We've got 5 or 6 laps before we're halfway, and then they'll start to think about what they're going to do for the last half of the race then. Tinnis, meanwhile, down in 8th, he's not looking too happy. But boy, that's 5 seconds behind Jazzman at the moment. He's the fastest guy on track at 146.720. Jazzman at 147.1. Fogarty at 147.667. So he is catching up to the likes of these people right now. Retro's the slowest guy on the circuit, but again, he's not the man for one lap pace. He's the man for consistency, and right now he's showing that consistency. Fogarty almost had a moment, but he kept it on the track, and life is all good for him in 7th place. And let's see if he can catch up to Vectro again, Evil.
Yeah, well, let's see. Vectro, who, yeah, he might be dropping back a little bit right now, but he's still holding his line right now. He's still doing a good job. Compared to, of course, where he was last week, where he was down there in, well, what was 11th, 12th, 13th position, struggling to even keep the car going in a straight line, might I say, right now in the wet conditions, where they should be very much spinning around. No, not really too many drivers spinning around, apart from little silly mistakes where they're trying up the inside into the hairpin, of course, occasionally, which is, of course, easy to do in these wet conditions. I've seen, and I've done quite a lot of practice, it's very easy to skating off there. The sun very low in the sky, so the braking distance is, of course, extended as well. A lot of track temperatures and everything, but so far tracks should dry around about lap 23. It should be around about a window where it should be getting dry enough. Will it be dry enough to go to the dry tyres is a different question. Remember, we spoke to some of the drivers and they said the track conditions vary between driver and driver, and so far in this race, the player actor not really making too many mistakes so far this season, is he? He's keeping his nose clean, keeping everything going. He's pulled a big gap right now. He's going, what, almost 3-4 times quicker a lap than Jazzman. He's pulled the gap now to 5.5 seconds, almost 6 seconds up the road. He can almost afford right now to just relax, cool off the car, just drop back a little bit, drop a few temps. Gazza in 3rd. He's getting still caught by Scott, who's doing a very good job so far. The Audi driver from Birmingham doing a brilliant job. Big Kid Daddy there in 5th as well. Vectro in sixth. Fogarty's still catching him. The old boy, the old time up in the 85. And his swan song of his career, might I say. Of course, he's getting on a bit. So let's see what he can do. Maybe the old retirement home was calling earlier on this season. But, you know, he's starting to get the old Fogarty back. He's like the old Fogarty we used to know. He's starting to come back, of course. He said these conditions at the first half of the season were not suiting him. Now they start to be. As long as he doesn't throw it off the road, of course. Meanwhile, Leonardo in the pit lane. And that's curious. He's the first driver in the pit, though. Now, surely that's not for soft tyres or hard tyres yet, because that would be very early indeed. Now, surely, unless it's for damage, he's got to be going for the hard tyres, Jess. Unless he's trying to go for another set of wets.
That is very risky if they go for slicks, but we'll find out as he's put into his pit box. It looks like another set of wet tyres to me, by looks of things. So I think it's just a scheduled stop.
Is it for damage?
Oh, it could be damage, actually. I don't know.
Long stop.
It is a long stop. Because I thought there's no way you would pit now if it wasn't for damage. Because you can go on these set of tyres until it starts to dry up again. Almost certainly. So, yeah, he must have picked it up when he was battling earlier on. He did have a spin earlier, don't forget, Evil. So it might have been that. But we'll find out sooner or later anyway.
Yeah, we'll find out, of course. Meanwhile, Tinnis is having a little battle with good old Fogarty. Bono in the chat saying about the suspension damage. So that's the reason he went off the road.
I thought so. I had a feeling it was suspension damage.
Failure potentially there on him. Tinnis still in 8th position, still challenging behind Fogarty, the seasoned veteran, versus the one of the most brilliant upcoming racers of this generation of AOR drivers. He's been going for 2, 3, 4 seasons right now, and he's often a driver who can provide some great racing. He's having a look there. I don't think he's alongside Fogarty there, just giving him a little bit of a don't trot. Fogarty stopped corner cutting, my friend. That's a bit cheeky, you little bugger. Cutting the corner a little bit there. I think he might get a penalty for that, you know.
He might.
You might get. I think Tinnis won't be very happy about that one. Okay, well, I mean, you know, what are the old tricks from Foggy right there, might I say? If he doesn't get a penalty, I'll be gobsmacked from that one. But you know what? It was more in Austria than Germany there. But you know, still behind Vectro. Vectro's still doing a good job in 6th position, holding these guys off. Behind them there, big gap up to Big Daddy as Vectro almost ends up getting clipped again by good old Fogarty. Fogarty's having a look, left, right, centre, and up and down, but can't do it right now. But the big Mercedes holding off the hard, fast Mr. Tinnis. And Tinnis and Vector have had some great battling before. You'll remember what happened in Bruno a couple of seasons ago, where those two went side by side for a while. It was about 2-3 laps together, just flying with each other. A great racetrack at Bruno. Often he can be in the correct conditions. But Tinnis still having a look. By the way, hazy conditions starting to come across as Tinnis having a look up the inside, down into Mobile 1. Won't do it there, my friend, unless you get really alongside, but the rain has stopped. Now, I'm wondering, is anyone going to come in? Oh, Fogarty a little bit wide, and Fogarty is off the road. Has he spun? Yes, he has. So, Fogarty, the wily old fox, has been passed by Tintin, and Fogarty got his car up to corner cutting, I might say, a little bit of cutting himself. Like a little bit of corner cutting. You know what they say, you get what you're given. And
it is dry.
The Fogarty has gone off. Yep, starting to dry up out there, Jess, but of course, it'll take a long while before this circuit dries completely. It's still going to be very wet. Imagine that 23 or 4. We see our first drivers in the pit lane for those dry tyres.
Exactly. We are halfway in this race. We're 30 minutes in, 18 laps down, 18 laps to go. So, yeah, it's just about the right time. You can see the lap times tumbling down right now. Turn 1, I saw was quite dry, but the rest of the track is still quite damp. So, they're going to find it a little bit more tricky. And if anyone pits, then they'll be utterly brave because they're going to struggle. So, they're going to try and last as much as they can on these tyres then, as Tinnis is still behind Vectro.
Yeah, the lap times are the top 2-3 drivers all setting the 45s right now, so fact, pretty much the top 5 is saying 45 to be fair. 44.8 actually right now.
Oh, look at this Tinnis! Oh my word, he was almost going to go for the send into turn 9 and 10, but couldn't quite work.
Vetro's struggling here. He's got the grip. Is Tinnis going to look at the inside? Vetro, if I was him, I'd be just a little bit cautious right now. It's Tinnis.
Oh, spun again!
Can he catch it? Yeah, no. Almost caught it. Rear-ended Vetro there. I think Vetro might just, I think that wasn't anyone's fault there. Vetro covered his line. Tinnis had a look up the inside, couldn't work. Just tried it, too late on the brakes, clipped the car, as what it does of course. Luckily Vetro didn't go round from that one. I think he'll be very lucky about that. So I'm wondering, look at 44s already for your leaders I'm seeing. Compared to that's the 48s, 51s. Now we saw this in practice of course. These track conditions are very, very inconclusive. They change on driver to driver, unfortunately. So these track conditions are going to vary compared to what we see on the stream, compared to what they see on the circuit. Some drivers might see this almost the bone dry circuit, which I believe Boy Raxa might be seeing nearly right now, because he's vaulting away from Jazzman right now in Gaza. Now let's see, of course, if anyone's going to come in the pit lane for those dry tyres. It should be around about 2 or 3 laps time.
Yep, I think so. So watch out for these guys. As I said, they do have to pit, otherwise they will get a penalty of some sort by the stewards. So that's something to keep an eye on. Hopefully these guys don't forget. Boy Raxa staying out, of course, though. But let's see what his lap time is compared to the last lap. Can he improve? He doesn't. 2 tenths down. Jazzman does the gamble. Jazzman does the gamble then. Is it going to be for a slick? I think it might be.
It will be.
So
Jazzman, he's got nothing to lose though, Jazz, has he? I mean, he's got no points. There's no point of him not coming in. Scolding as well. So Scold and Jazzman both reacting then. Now, is this a gamble? Is this going to work, or is it going to be for nothing then? So down they come. The jacks go up. Hard tyres potentially for both of these drivers. And a little bit of weight there for Jazzman. He's just waiting to get those car fixed. I think he's taking on the damage potentially. So he's in a long time, is Jazzman right now. Now he's going. So he's just fixing damage. He's run over Skull's mechanics. In comes Big Key Daddy as well. So this here is going to be the real key battle then. Skulls also then presumably getting some engine damage, potentially some damage as well. A long stop for him. Now he's underway. Almost stalled it in the pit lane, and Tinnis in the back as well. So they're all coming in the pit lane, Jazz.
Yeah, so they're probably seeing different things to what we're seeing, because we're still seeing spray on the track, but you know, they might think it's best to go on the dries better than the wets. They might think it's better, but who knows? We'll see it in a lap's time, see if it's the best. And there's people that haven't pitted, of course, and we can compare them to the guys. Obviously, Boy Raxa hasn't pitted right now, so something to keep an eye on. There, Jazzman, he's one of those guys still on the wet. He seems to be fine right now. I'll go to the hairpin. Let's see how he does it. Yep, he seems to be fine to me. So we're gonna hopefully we'll see the likes of Scold and Tinnis. Tinnis has been in the pits for a very long time. And Boy Raxa, our race leader, Ebor, is in the pit lane.
Yeah, Boy Raxa's had to react. Then if he has to react, Gaz will come in as well. They've all got to react to Jazzman. Jazzman. Right now, he's going to be the key deciding factor in this race, and it's almost a bone dry circuit, Jess, right now. Look how quickly it's dried up compared to practice. You can see it's a little bit skatey, of course, on our screens. A few poles right now. This is going to be the key question. How wet's it going to be down in the scratch curb? As Jazzman got it stopped. He's going straight on. No, he caught it just about there. I thought he was going straight off the circuit there. He caught it there just about. Stone, meanwhile, catching up to Fogarty in the background there, but the puddle's very treacherous here. Is anyone going to go off there? It's going to be the crucial thing, how easy it is just to lock a car and go straight off. Boy Raxa exit the pit lane and in the lead of this race. What about Jazzman and Gaza? That's the crucial thing. Gaza should come up behind Jazzman. Jazzman then up to second position then in this race again. Gaza there, Vetro staying out on those wet tyres right now. So here I think he's going to go for the wets as long until it's dry enough. He's still got relatively good pace so far. So he's up to third. Gaza in fourth. Fogarty on those wet tyres getting hounded down by Scold then on the wet tyres. And I think Scold having a look on the inside now, on the outside there of Foggy, then trying to come back up to the inside of Foggy. And these two having a bit of ding-dong battle. Scold should easily make mincemeat of the car ahead of him as long as he doesn't throw it off the road right now. I think Foggy might just be in a bit of trouble right now. Defino, meanwhile, a 10-second time penalty down the back for speeding in the pit lane. Scold off the road there, as up the inside there, Vectro getting overtaken there by Gaza. Around the outside, meanwhile, Scold trying around the outside of Mr. Foggy. Foggy rather parking the car on the apex right now. Scold, I think, is getting a little bit frustrated. He's getting held up. His strategy is not going to work. He's stuck behind the old timer. He's so far doing a good job. But Gaza got ahead of Vectro like he needs to do. Vectro, let's see if he's going to come in the pit then, of course. Foggy is now being overtaken by Scold. He's gone up the inside. Foggy is now dropping back down the field. He's under pressure from Essa as well. Big Kid Daddy down there in 8th. Leonardo Tinnis down there in 10th. Defino, who's just coming in that pit lane, of course, with, we believe, that 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Yes, it was.
Yep, so that's what it was then. Usually in the F1 games it's 5 seconds, but Project Cars 2 like to make it a little bit more harsher, in particular in these wet conditions, so that's why it is right now. Fogarty is struggling because Essa Racing is going to probably make mincemeat as well. Yep, Fogarty goes in, so does Essa. Vetro's in as well, so for those of them that haven't pitted yet, they have to pit. I mean, this is the crunch time now. Because it is pretty much bone dry on some of the circuit. Well, you can see a wet patch, but as long as they try and avoid it as much as they can, it shouldn't be a problem to deal with the slicks. This corner here that we're on board with Leonardo is going to be the most trickiest corner that the drivers will have to deal with in terms of that, due to the fact that we have the big puddle. But everywhere else, it should be fine due to the fact that it's bone dry there. So, you know, just watch out for 10, 11 and 12. That's where it'll be particularly treacherous, but, you know, Boy Raxa is not having such troubles, is he?
Now he's still leading this race, 5.8 seconds up the road. 13 and a bit laps to go just so far. Boy Raxa, who's relatively always doing a good job. He doesn't make any mistakes often, rarely cracks under pressure. When he does, it normally goes off big time. SOX is the pit lane behind Tinnis. You can see the puddles are down here into the scratch curb, as well as, of course, down towards the parabolic, of course, as well. Very wet conditions. So, of course, varies from driver to driver. We'll see if anyone makes any mistakes. Vetro's exited in 7th position then. So he's behind Leonardo then. So Leonardo up to 6th ahead of Vetro's down in 7th. Foggy in 8th. Still a good result there from Vetro. Though I said, oh, Foggy up in the wall. Big accident. Foggy straight in the wall there. Exit the pit. They big damage there on the puddles. Aquaplaning there, and it's not dry for some of them, like I said. And Foggy, that's going to be a race over there. That's going to be out to the race now, surely, for the potential of points. He's going to have to watch out then.
Oh my God. He is aquaplaning.
Back on. Right there, Essa. Coming around the outside.
Oh.
Going to be most likely a retirement. Vetro almost joined him as well. So, it's not dry, it's not wet, it's in between, and that's a tricky situation about these drivers. You can see there, Vetro's struggling as he goes off the road. He almost goes off the road, he almost loses it there. There's no grip out there. Vetro, and he told me like this is not going to be fun if some drivers are going to get wet circuit, or some are going to get a dry circuit. Right now, you can just see, look how Tinnis is catching him, hand over hand over hand. It's almost like Vetro's driving on a wet circuit right now. He is driving a wet circuit, he's spun. So it's not dry at all for Vetro right now. This has got to be cruel for Vetro right now. He's driving on what we believe must be a wet circuit. The conditions are not perfect at all for him. And the poor old Dutchman, who was doing so well earlier on, has been rather crudely deposited in these conditions, pocketed in the pit lane for damage. Whilst these drivers like Boy Raxa are setting almost 40s now.
Yeah, I mean, you were saying earlier on, Evil, that a few people are suffering different conditions, and, you know, I mean, I don't know why. I've never experienced it in my life. Usually everyone suffers the same conditions, but that's what it is with the weather system. Obviously, they have to deal with different things, and hopefully it's something they can sort it in the new Project Cars game, which I'm actually looking forward to, even though it's not announced yet. Hopefully it will be announced pretty soon. Skull's still in 4th place. I actually can't believe he's still in 4th place. He's doing massively well right now. He's catching, yeah, it is. 141.697. He is third fastest on track right now. Because Jazzman's first.
And you know what that does? That's really satisfying. This is the exact dead number. But look at the gap. He's catching 6 times a second, 6 times a second, 6 times a lap. He was catching 6 times a lap. That'd be impressive. But 6 times a lap by Raxon right now, the Mercedes in these dry conditions. Look at the background there. That is DeVito going two-wheeling. That's DeVito in between, and that's why. So as it dries, by Raxon getting caught slightly then by Jazzman. Jazzman. He's constantly 2-3 temps up right now as by Raxon. He's got to be feeling a little bit of pressure right now. He's getting caught by, what, half a second on that potentially? That could be the case. Meanwhile, Scold is catching Gaza bit by bit. Is Scold on potential for a podium maybe in this race? Well, we'll find out later on, but anything can happen. Meanwhile, Vetro, how's he doing out there in 9th position so far? Struggling. He's got no grip out there at all, has he? It's going bad towards Fogarty as well, down the back. He was up there in 7th as well as Vetro. Both aquaplaned at the same time, Jazz. So it implies to me my theory was correct. The circuit, for some, a lot wetter than others still.
Yeah, I think so. I think most bits bone dry right now, but corners like this where you can see the puddles is where they're most likely going to struggle. But yeah, you could just see, we're riding on board with Jazzman at the moment. You can see the damp bits of the track. Parabolic is going to be cruel, and someone's gone off. Who's that? That is DeFino. So Jazzman goes past him to lap him, I believe. Yes, he does lap him. Jazzman doing well in 2nd place. This is what he likes to do, and the track seems to be getting better for Boy Raxon and Jazzman. They're in the 140s right now. So is Gaza, so is Scold. And so is Big King, well, potentially the top 6 are doing well. Tinnis is... yeah, as well. So Tinnis matching his teammate. And obviously also Boy Raxon and Gaza. So the top 2 teams are doing very well right now. So, you know, it just goes to show Tinnis is on the comeback. He's not giving up. Vetro, it could have been a good result for him, but he's just finding it hard for his turn 11 and 12 right now to control the car. He nearly had it could have been worse for him. Fogarty had a much worse accident, but you know, it happens. But I'm noticing something evil. Jazzman is catching Boy Raxon up. You can see in the background as well that he's increasing his pace right now. The only one in the top 3s right now to set a lap into 140s.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Vetch has been overtaken by DeFino then, so it's going downhill, and it's going downhill quickly. Look how much more pace DeFino's got. I'm not sure if it's like I feared. You can see the car skating just there. He looks like he's got no pace out there right now, but like I said, Jazzman taking out, what, 3, 4, 5 tenths a second. Lost that 1.3 seconds a lap out of the Lamborghini. He's absolutely flying around this circuit right now. And it's not over yet. This race is not over by a long shot. We've got, what, some 10 laps to go, Jess? And the top 2 now closing up. Gaza in 3rd as well, also going almost a second a lap quicker than his own teammate right now. Scold starting to drop back a little bit in the Audi as well. Big Kidadia a long way back. He's rather in no man's land in between Scold and Leonardo. Leonardo also a big gap ahead and behind Tinnis. Tinnis now closing up a little bit. I'm curious what his pace can be. He's, what, some 12 seconds. I don't think he'll catch him ahead of the course unless he's setting 1:40s constantly. And he is right now in the 1:40s. Believe it, he's been almost in the 39s, I'd say, Jess, if he wants to catch him. But let's keep an eye on these top 2. The gap's come down to almost, it's bobbling around 3 seconds. It's almost 5 seconds, Jess. About, what, a couple of laps ago? It's coming down, and it's coming down quickly.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you know, he needs some luck somehow, because Jazzman, looking at the standings because I was going through earlier on, Jazzman has had no luck. No points, retirements, disconnects, did not start. I mean, imagine when he comes to the end of this race and he gets a good finish out of this. If he gets a podium, then he's going to continue this season on the high. His momentum is going to carry forward, which is what he deserves. He's showing his true pace right now. In the last few races, he hasn't. This is what we want to see. 1/10 quicker in sector 1. He means business. I mean, he is fast in that Lamborghini. The Lambos are catching the Mercedes. I mean, Boy Raxer must be worried in that Merc. He thinks he could pull away with a win, but at the moment, it could be the likes of Jazzman might catch up. Even Gaza might catch up as well. I think Boy Raxer's hope is that Gaza's going to try and catch up as he laps, I think, Defino. Yes, he does. Defino's not having a good day.
It's Vetro who's well, we could say Vetro's got no grip out there. Let's just assume right now, and I'm presuming unless he's got something very wrong with the setup, but to be very unlikely right now, because you know potentially how glitchy unfortunately the session is recently compared to wet to dry. That it just hasn't got any grip. For him, it must be almost like a wet circuit still. He just can't drive. For potentially setting 1 minute 49s out there right now. He's the slowest by far compared to the rest of the field. Everyone else in the 40s. Fogarty now starting to get some grip down the back as well, even though he's struggling as well. So it just looks very much like a bleak condition right now for Vector right now. And
he's going to retire. Is he? No, he's letting him through. Okay.
Yeah, he's letting go through. Vector won't retire from the race. I'll be very surprised if he does. He's a man who will finish the race no matter what will happen. Jazzman low, 1.4 seconds. The gap is coming down. Took another 5 attempts out of him there. So he's catching. And the gap, you can see that 2 attempts down. Jazzman's 0 attempts down, might I say. 28 thousandths down in that time. The gap 2.7 seconds right now. It comes down bit by bit by bit. We're in for a Grand Slam finish here today at the Hockenheim ring between the top 2 potential drivers in this season. Jazzman, who relatively has had a shocking first half of the season. We're in round 4, and this will be his only point so far. Will be potentially, and I say potentially, at least a top 10 finish in this race, because unless, of course, something terrible happens, we hope it does, and of course, he's, of course, might be on course for a podium today, but with his luck he's had this season, anything can happen here. And it usually does, but he is catching.
Yeah, 1/10 per sector by the looks of things. I mean, it was 3.5 seconds, now it's 2.5 seconds, now it's 2.1, now it's 1.9, now it's gone back to 2.5. It just varies sector per sector then for Jazzman. He seems to be faster in sector 2 almost likely. He's gaining more time in sector 2. I mean, this is a man where he means business. I mean, I said earlier, but I'm not going to say anything more right now. And you can see where Jazzman's gaining in the corners, whereas Boy Raxer is gaining on the straights. That's what you expect. It's the Merc, for goodness sake, for Boy Raxer. But, yeah, Ezra Racing, he's not having a good race right now. He's down in 9th, and he's in the pits right now. So he's going to change tyres and damage by looks things. And he's another guy that doesn't want to give up either. He's like Vetro. He wants to continue racing, which is fair play as well. Same for Fogarty too. Vetro 1.9 seconds quicker that lap. So he's getting better. He's getting used to the track a bit more, which is great to see. So
still wet times, Jasler. Look, it's still a wet time. 1:45. I mean, they were setting 44s. So it just shows that it's just. He's spun again. There is no grip, and that there is not. I'm not pretty certain that is not a car issue. That's surely just it's too wet. You can see the spray kicking up, but you can see the CRC. Well, look at board vector here. You can see how much. Look at the car wiggling around us. He loses so much speed down there compared to other drivers. It's almost like I say he's driving on that wet circuit. You can see that skating around there down on the brakes. So incredible scenes here. Meanwhile, Jazzman again taking another 5 attempts out of Tinus. By Raxer. Tinus meanwhile down there. He's setting 140.2s by the way. So he's catching up to Leonardo by the bucket load. The gap now is what, some 10 to 9 seconds between those two drivers there. So up front, gap now 1.8 seconds. It's reading on our timing screens. But Jazzman 139.9. Quickest driver so far in this race. He's 5 attempts a lap quicker than his nearest rival. The timing screen, I think, is not really giving an indication of how close they are, James.
No, I mean, this is going to be a titanic battle to the finish. And if you just joined us, where have you been? This is going to be between Boy Raxer versus Jazzman for the win. Everybody else could not match them right now. the gap between Boyraxa and Gaza, 16 seconds. That is massive in GT3 terms. I mean, you know, oh, Jazzman, he almost broke too late there, but he managed to get the car together. But, you know, these two on a different level today, I mean, in terms of pace. Jazzman, the first guy into the 139s. I mean, he's getting used to more about these changing conditions more than anyone right now. He's absolutely loving this as they're going through the little kink right now. Boat's about to approach the Mobile chicane pretty soon as well. Let's see. He's lost a bit of time there in that sector, but again, he's just finding his time. He can't push. He can't push too much because otherwise, A, he's going to run out of fuel, and B, his tyres might go kaboof. And you know, you don't want that. So you got to find your balance, Evil.
Yeah, he's got enough fuel to last this race from that 32 of the 36 race, well, the 35 racing laps, of course, with that 1 formation. That gap sitting around about, there's 140, 139.9, so 140.2 versus 139.9. Gap comes down another 0.3 of a second. This is going to be awfully close, Jess, I reckon. It's almost within a second, I believe, right now. I mean, it's just bubbling on that time right now. I mean, apparently he's 1 minute 29 seconds behind, according to my screen right now. He's 1 second, so unfortunately the timing screens on mine, at least, not really being as accurate as they should be. Big gap downwards though. It's almost 17 seconds. Scold right now in 4th. He can afford to just bring things home right now. No need to push the car too heavily. 8 the gap low. He's almost going to give in a second in some corners. So Jazzman pushing it hard. Vector is still down there in the 146. Fogarty in the 150s. So those two having no luck. I think Fogarty's gone off actually. He has gone off in the Scats Cup. Then so that is why he's very much struggling. Vector as well. Like I said earlier on, driving on a circuit that is very much not the correct conditions. And that hopefully should be addressed, of course, later on. For 2/10 up again for Jazzman, 40 pounds up for Boyraxa. This looks to be like it's going to be almost down to the last lap, Jazz. So we'll find out what happens. Gap is now just sitting. It's on the bubble of being under a second. Then it opens up to 1.2 seconds. So it's closing, but is it going to be close enough? If they close it, it's going to be about 2 laps. They're going to battle at.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of like a repeat to what we've seen in 3 seasons ago, where the leaders have been battling. I mean, these drivers just have a thing with Hockenheim, don't they? They just love to battle a lot, and it's just amazing. I mean, fair play to these drivers, and I hope they come to Hockenheim every season, to be fair, because it's one of the good tracks. And Jazzman, he look at him, he just gained a lot in that cornering speed. That's just amazing, and the timings have messed up on my screen as well. 1/10 again. He seems to be getting a 10th per sector once again then. So, you know, he must be loving life right now with 3 laps to go until the end of this race. Scold has got a second penalty, but at the moment, due to the gap, it's not going to affect him. Jazzman's got a penalty as well. Again, not 2 seconds, and Duffino's got 10 seconds. Okay, so even if Jazzman overtakes Boyraxa, he's got to be at least a second clear in order to win this race. That is going to be absolutely tricky for him. So if he wants to get the move done, he's got to push now, because you can't decide to push with a lap to go, because it's going to be too little too late. You've got to leave at least a lap to start to push and make sure you're clear of the car behind. So that's what Jazzman has got to focus on right now. He's trying his best at least. He's now 6/10 behind him. Now he's 5/10. Oh my god, this is getting very, very, very intense. I can't wait to watch the final few laps, Evil.
Yeah, it's closing. The question is, if he can close, where on the circuit, where on earth do you try and pass in conditions still? It's wet off the line. I've been told apparently it's still wet on circuit. So some drivers offline, when they go wide, it's just like a puddle. It's like almost like well, there's no grips, I suppose. So that's probably why actually. So if they go wide, that's gonna be trouble.
Yeah.
Jazzman though, he's 3/10. He's sitting right behind. He's sitting dandy right now. The question is he close enough to have a look up the inside? That is the question. He's 33 times back. I think it's too far back. We know that Mercedes has got a big amount of grunt.
Yeah, it is very, very tough, but Boy Raxa is a guy that's going to defend. They're going to go side by side into the hairpin right now.
Almost had a look. He had a look. Tennis go by. Raxa goes wide though. He's made a mistake at brake pedal there. Flashing, I think, they're like flashing at Jasmine. What are you doing, my friend? Move over. Jazzman's going for it. Here we go. He's having a look on the inside. Down on the brakes. Feel about it. Backs off of it again. He's having a look left now. And now we've got it's game time, Jess. 3 laps to go here in the Hockenheim race. By Raxa, struggling. Jazzman having a look on the inside, having a look again. Can't do it then. Now it's got to be this lap shortly. He's got 1 lap to do it. If he's going to do it, it's got to be sooner rather than later on board. We go into the spray, into the scratch curve. But surely it's only a matter of time. A matter of seconds now before Jazzman has a look up the inside or the outside. And all he needs not to do is make contact and throw it away, because he's on course for a podium nonetheless. Well, where's he going to make the move then? The question is, he's in the slipstream. He pulls to the right, no move through turn 1. You can see though, Gaza, Boy Raxa might I say, a lot more nervous. He's the only best opportunity. He's going to be down into one of these tight corners, down towards the chicane. The hairpin, might I say, as they come through what is almost like a chicane, might I say, a long right into a quick left. So, as long as he gets a good exit here, now he's within 0.2 of a second. This is good. He needs just to go up the inside. He needs to try it. He has to try it. On that 35, he needs to try and pull that gap if he can. The question is, does he have a look? Does he have enough grip then when he gets there? So far, not too close. He's close enough, but he's not close right up behind him. Get a good exit though, and he might have a little look. Still can't do it. So he's just stuck there, looking behind the Mercedes. Like we've seen before, the Lamborghini hasn't got the grunt. It's got the pace through the corners, but it hasn't got the grunt down the straight to have a look at him. This is fantastic stuff here. We're here on that 35 or 36 of another lap here in the Hockenheim ring for the German Grand Prix. Top 2 battling. Alas, it will be decided on penalties, but we can still believe anything can happen here. Raxa might go off the road here today. It's going to be a Grand Slam finish nonetheless. Jazzman having a look on the inside for a second there. He's lunging it. He wants it. He knows he can get it. But it's going to be over before he knows he has to do it. Then he needs to find 2 seconds in the lap. It's going to be difficult here as he exits the last corner to begin the last lap here in Hockenheim. This is going to be close. Is he got enough in him? Has he got enough in the tank to do it? He's got 6 litres to. He won't run out of fuel. He hasn't to worry about that one at all. Can he find any ounce of space, any ounce of steam? He has a look up the inside, then on the brakes as he has a look. He thinks about it again. Very close. They almost touched. They almost touched. Now round the outside again he goes here on the last lap here at Hockenheim Ring. They're almost touching as they come through the corner. Jazzman pulls to the left. Gaza will be on the right as they come down the hill. We go then on the final lap of the race. Mind the penalties. He's having a look to the right. Now is he going to have a look on the inside? He has a look round the outside. He pulls alongside. Late on the brakes. Still cannot pass him. What about the exit? Can he do anything? He's still there. He's still there. He has to pull back and still can't find a way past the Mercedes there. He still has a look up the inside. He's still hunting for every ounce he's got, but he still can't get alongside. Boy Raxa is having a stellar drive, wide ever so slightly as they come through the penultimate couple of corners down to the scratch curve. They go. Boy Raxa. Has he got enough of the tag? Jazzman looks. He has a look. He can't do it. Miley's got a penalty. He's still trying it with everything he's got. He's got 2 corners to go. Boy Raxa. He's got 2 to go. Into the right. 1 to go. Jazzman looks. Jazzman hunts. Boy Raxa comes through the last corner. Boy Raxa comes to the line. And Boy Raxa wins here in Germany.
That was insanely close. Well done to both of those drivers. Fair play, fair racing to both of them as well. Good job to Jazzman with the comeback by Gaza. Here comes a podium there as well, making it a double podium for the Gaza and Raxa team. But Scold, after a disappointing couple of races, he gets his best result of the season. P4, Jazzman, P2, These two deserve those results today. That's going to climb them both up the championship. Big Kid Daddy, he'll be happy with this as well. He'll get his second best well of the season as he comes towards the final corner. He got a 4th place in the long race in Ruin Let Us Up. He's going to get a 5th today as he comes across the line. He's going to be pleased with that. And we got Tinnis as well. I do believe Tinnis has crossed the line, or he's got a few corners to go anyway. He's got a few corners to go. And also Vetro in front as well. He's going to finish down in 10th then. And Leonardo as well is going to cross the line in 7th position. Defina, I think, is going to be right behind it all. I think he's finished.
Yeah, they've already finished. Yeah, they've all very much finished, Jess. I mean, I'd be concerned if they hadn't finished. They're doing some donuts right now down the Parabolica. Vetro, well, I think Vetro sums that up there for his race in the barrier, but
yeah.
Boraxo wins an incredible race then from Jazzman in 2nd, Gaza in 3rd, Scold, fantastic 4th minus Big Day, a brilliant 5th ahead of the established Tinnis, Leonardo in 7th, Defino in 8th, Essa 9th, Vetro 10th, Fox 11th, Archil didn't finish the race, Papano we lost, and we lost as well the car
Jasco.
of Jasco as well. Jess, your driver of the day, it's got to be Jazzman, hasn't it?
Yeah, I got to agree with that. I mean, Jazzman, we thought that Raxa was going to do it. Raxa had the gap. He had the gap towards the middle of the race, but you can see Jazzman was absolutely hunting for dear life. He was pulling up fastest laps after fastest laps, and you know, he was looking really comfortable out there. He needed this. He had a long streak of no points, and he's going to get his first point of the season with a P2. I mean, that can't, apart from P1, you can't get any better than that. And I have to give Scold a close second there for driver of the day, because he was looking really good in those wet conditions.
Indeed, incredible race nonetheless. Drama, excitement throughout. Carnage earlier on in the race. Yes, we had trouble. We had spins. We had excitement. We had a Grand Slam finish, Jess. And I'll let you round off this last few words of the stream.
Thank you very much, Evil. And luckily, my internet decided to be stable for the stream, and we had a full stream. Yay! So that was good news for both me and for Evil. So that's good news. So make sure you join us next week for the next round, which I believe is Donington. I think.
It is, yes.
Yeah, it is Donington. I got that right. I knew it was in Britain somewhere because it had a British flag in the standings. But it is Donington Park, which should be very, very exciting. Another normal race, but luckily just dry conditions. So none of the wetness that they got to worry about here as well. Can Jazzman carry that momentum? Can Raxa extend his lead in the championship next week? We'll have to find out. Same time, same place, 8 PM. Me and Evil will still be there. I've been Jess Games 95. Evil has been Evil Dragon XSL. And we'll see you next week at 8 PM. Good night.
Goodbye.